I thought I knew my wife completely. 26 years of marriage, 3 incredible kids, a life built brick by brick through sacrifice and trust. I was wrong about everything. My name is David Marshall. I'm 52, a senior operations manager at Northeast Logistics. Steady, reliable, the kind of man who built security for his family. Patricia, my wife of 26 years, has been a stay-at-home mother since our second child was born. A mutual decision we both stood behind proudly. Our children are our masterpiece. Connor, 25, is a mechanical engineer with a work ethic that makes me proud. Ethan, 23, is finishing his MBA, already fielding job offers. And Lily, our youngest at 21, is studying nursing with compassion that could break your heart. They're respectful, driven, close-knit, the kind of family that neighbors envy. I believed we'd created something unbreakable, a fortress of love and commitment that 26 years had only strengthened. But 4 months ago, things began to shift. Patricia started taking shopping trips, twice a week, sometimes more, always alone, always vague about where she'd been or what she'd purchased. Just needed to get out of the house, she'd say with that familiar smile. The one I'd fallen for when we were barely more than kids. You know how it is? I never questioned it. After 2.5 decades together, why would I? The kids noticed but dismissed it as mom needing space now that they were grown. I agreed. Patricia had devoted her entire adult life to us. She deserved freedom. Our routine changed. Patricia would leave Tuesday afternoons and Thursday evenings, returning with minimal bags, her phone always face down on the counter. I noticed other small details too. The new perfume she wore. The yoga classes she suddenly mentioned but never discussed. The way she'd check her phone at dinner and smile at messages she never shared. I felt whispers of unease but crushed them immediately. This was Patricia, the woman who'd stood beside me through job losses, my father's death, our daughter's health scare. Trust wasn't optional in our marriage, it was foundational. Tuesday evening, we sat at dinner as a family. Connor had brought takeout from that Thai place Patricia loves. The conversation flowed naturally until Patricia cleared her throat. "I've been thinking," she began, setting down her fork. "I need a trip." Just me. Somewhere quiet where I can unwind. I looked up, surprised but supportive. She explained how after 26 years of domestic life, of putting everyone else first, she needed me time. "I'm thinking Charleston," she added. "It's beautiful this time of year." Just 4 or 5 days. I reached across the table, squeezing her hand. "You absolutely deserve this. Book it. We'll handle everything here," I assured her. Patricia's face bloomed into a smile. "Thank you, honey. I knew you'd understand," she said, squeezing my hand back. Later that night, as Patricia walked upstairs, I watched her phone screen light up. She read the message, smiled in a way that seemed secretive, and typed a quick response before locking the screen. For the first time in our marriage, I felt a cold knot form in my stomach, a sensation so foreign that I immediately forced it away. This was Patricia, my wife, the mother of my children. I trusted her completely. That was my first mistake. 3 days later, we piled into the SUV, me, Connor, Ethan, and Lily, to drive Patricia to the airport. The mood was warm, sentimental. Patricia sat beside me, her excitement palpable. "You have everything?" I asked, navigating through traffic. "Passport? Charger?" "Yes, David," she laughed, patting her purse. "You've only asked 5 times since breakfast." The terminal drop-off was a flurry of activity. Unloading luggage, hugs exchanged, last-minute reminders. Lily helped her mother with her suitcase. Connor wrapped his arms around Patricia in a bear hug. "Don't get into too much trouble, Mom," he teased, lifting her slightly off the ground. "As if," she replied, straightening her blouse with mock indignation. Ethan held her shoulders and looked directly into her eyes. "Remember to actually relax, okay? Don't spend the whole time worrying about us," he advised gently. I'll try, she promised, patting his cheek. Then it was my turn. I pulled her close, breathing in her scent, the new perfume mixed with her shampoo. Have an amazing time, I whispered. You've earned this. We kissed goodbye, a proper kiss, not just a peck. The kind that said, I'll miss you. Come back to me soon. I'll call every night, she promised, squeezing my hand before walking into the terminal. The drive home was filled with chatter about covering Patricia's responsibilities. I felt pride swelling, pride in the life we'd built, where my wife could take a well-earned vacation without stress or drama. Dad, you okay to handle dinner tonight? Ethan asked as we pulled into our driveway. Of course, I nodded confidently. I was thinking pasta. Connor groaned from the back seat. Dad's pasta means jarred sauce and overcooked noodles, he complained. Lily punched her brother's arm playfully. Be nice. Mom's been gone for like 2 hours, and you're already complaining about food? She scolded. We laughed, and the sound felt normal, even with Patricia's absence creating a small vacuum in our family dynamic. That first night, the phone rang at 8 p.m. sharp. We gathered in the living room, putting Patricia on speakerphone. The resort is gorgeous, she gushed. I'm sitting on the balcony watching the sunset. I miss you guys already. We took turns talking to her, Lily asking about the room, Ethan about the food, Connor wondering if she'd made any friends. Patricia laughed. I'm here to relax, not socialize, she explained. Though the couple next door invited me to join them for drinks tomorrow. I listened to my wife's voice, warm and familiar, feeling that strange cold knot dissolve. This was exactly what she needed. Enjoy yourself, Patty, I told her. You deserve every second. I love you all so much, she responded immediately. Love you too, we chorused back. The second night followed the same pattern. She described her day: spa treatment, poolside relaxation, seafood dinner. She sounded genuinely happy. I found myself planning surprises for her return. Flowers in the bedroom, her favorite wine, a date night reservation. By the third night, I was missing her more than expected. After another cheerful call, an idea formed. I sat with it through the night, building excitement. Thursday morning, I called the kids into the kitchen. They gathered around, curious about my early morning summons. I've been thinking, I began, unable to hide my grin. Your mom's been gone 3 days. What if we surprise her? Connor immediately caught on. Fly out to Charleston? He asked, eyes lighting up. I nodded enthusiastically. Exactly. Show up at her hotel, take her to dinner, spend the weekend together. She'd love it, right? Lily's face broke into a smile. That's so sweet, Dad, she exclaimed. Can we pull it off? Ethan asked, always the practical one. I turned to Lily. You still have that text where she mentioned the hotel name? Lily found the message on her phone. Yeah, the Ocean View Grand Resort, she confirmed. She mentioned it when I asked if she felt safe staying there. Perfect. I stood, energized by our plan. I'll book flights for tomorrow. We land tomorrow evening, surprise her Saturday morning. Everyone in? The kids nodded eagerly. Within hours, flights were booked. 4 seats to Charleston, departing Friday afternoon. Let's make this a weekend she'll never forget, I said as we packed overnight bags, not realizing how prophetic those words would be. Friday night, we checked into a modest hotel near the Ocean View Grand. As I fell asleep, my phone buzzed with a text from Patricia. Had the most amazing dinner tonight. Thinking about you. Love you. I smiled, typed back a heart emoji, and drifted off, completely unaware that in 12 hours, my entire world would detonate. Saturday morning arrived with picture-perfect weather, clear blue skies, gentle breeze, temperature in the mid-70s, the kind of day that feels like a good omen. We grabbed breakfast at a cafe near our hotel, planning our surprise over coffee and pastries. The excitement was contagious, all of us giddy with anticipation. How exactly are we doing this? Connor asked, slathering cream cheese on his bagel. We could call from the lobby, Lily suggested, stirring her latte. Ask her to come down for some reason. I considered our options, wanting maximum impact. What if we get a spare key card from the front desk? I proposed. Walk straight into her room. The look on her face will be priceless. The kids exchanged glances, then broke into matching grins. Perfect, Lily decided, already grabbing her phone. I'll record the whole thing. After breakfast, we drove to the Ocean View Grand. The resort was exactly as Patricia had described. Luxury property with white columns, sprawling grounds, ocean views stretching to the horizon. I approached the front desk with my 3 adult children flanking me, the picture of a loving family on a mission. The receptionist, a young woman with a professional smile, looked up as we approached. Good morning. How can I help you? She greeted us. Hi, I smiled warmly, keeping my voice low with conspiratorial excitement. We're here to surprise my wife, Patricia Marshall. She's staying here, room 412. The clerk's face softened into a genuinely warm smile. Oh, that's so sweet. A family surprise? She asked. Exactly, I confirmed, feeling proud of our plan. We flew in from Illinois yesterday. She has no idea we're here. Could we possibly get a spare key card? We want to walk in and surprise her. The clerk hesitated momentarily, hotel policy warring with sentiment, then nodded. You know what? That's adorable, she decided. One moment. She ran a key card through the encoder and handed it over. Room 412, 8th door on the right once you exit the elevators. She's going to be so happy. Thank you so much, I said, pocketing the key card. My heart was full of anticipation as we walked toward the elevators. This is going to be epic, Ethan whispered as the elevator doors closed. Lily already had her phone out, camera app open. Connor joked about scaring Patricia if she was still sleeping in. We were laughing as we reached the 4th floor. Room 412 was at the end of a quiet hallway. We approached silently, exchanging excited glances. I held a finger to my lips, then slid the key card into the slot. The light blinked green. I pushed the door open, already forming the word surprise on my lips. The first thing I heard stopped me cold. Moaning. Low, rhythmic, unmistakable. The second thing I saw destroyed me completely. Patricia, my wife of 26 years, naked, on top of a man, equally naked, equally exposed, their bodies moving together in practiced rhythm, her hands braced on his chest, his hands gripping her hips, morning sunlight streaming through the balcony doors, illuminating every detail with cruel clarity. Time seemed to fracture. My brain refused to process what my eyes were showing me. This couldn't be real. This was a nightmare. Behind me, Lily gasped, her phone instinctively rising, still recording. Patricia's head snapped toward the door, her eyes widened in horror. "Oh my God! David!" she shrieked. The man beneath her, mid-40s, dark hair, wedding ring glinting, scrambled backward, trying desperately to pull the sheet over himself. His face registered pure terror. "What the hell?" he managed, as if he were the one entitled to outrage. For one suspended moment, we all froze, a tableau of destruction. Me in the doorway, unable to move. My 3 children behind me, witnessing their mother's betrayal. Patricia and her lover caught in the most primal act of betrayal possible. Then everything happened at once. Patricia leaped off the man, frantically grabbing for clothes, for anything to cover herself. "David, kids, oh God," she stammered, voice high with panic. Connor surged forward, physically placing himself between his siblings and the scene. Ethan grabbed my shoulder, steadying me. Lily's phone continued recording, her hand shaking but the lens capturing everything. The man, this stranger who was inside my wife, jumped from the bed, stumbling backward into the bathroom, slamming the door. "David!" Patricia was crying now, clutching a sheet around herself, mascara streaking down her face. "Please, let me explain," she begged. "Explain!" The word left me in a whisper, then built to a roar. "Explain!" I thundered. Something broke inside me, something fundamental and irreparable. 26 years, I said, my voice eerily calm despite the hurricane raging inside. 26 years, Patricia. Dad? Ethan's voice cracked behind me. We should go, he urged. But I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't process. Who is he? I demanded, pointing at the bathroom door. Patricia was sobbing, her body heaving. Henry! His name is Henry! I met him at... She choked out. No. I cut her off, suddenly not wanting details. I don't care, I said coldly. From behind the bathroom door, Henry called out, Patricia, should I call security? The absurdity of it, this adulterer threatening to call security on the husband whose life he was destroying, broke something in me. I crossed the room, threw open the bathroom door, and dragged Henry out by his arm. He was half-dressed now, pants on but no shirt, eyes wide with fear. Listen, man, he started, raising his hands defensively. My fist connected with his jaw before he could finish. Pain exploded across my knuckles, but I felt nothing but cold rage. Henry stumbled backward, hitting the wall, blood blossoming from his lip. Dad! Connor was there instantly, arms wrapping around me, pulling me back. Stop! He's not worth it, he shouted. Patricia was screaming, begging. Lily was crying. Ethan stood frozen, face drained of color. Henry used the moment to gather his belongings, scrambling for the door. You're married, I spat at him, noticing his wedding ring. You're married too, I accused. Something like shame flickered across his face. I'm sorry, he mumbled, as if that meant anything. Get out, I growled. Get the hell out before I kill you. He slipped past us into the hallway, disappearing. Then it was just us, the Marshall family, fractured beyond repair in a hotel room that reeked of betrayal. David, Patricia tried again, taking a step toward me. Please listen, she pleaded. No, I said, my voice dead. We're leaving. I turned to my children, their faces reflecting shock, horror, disgust. Let's go, I ordered. Dad, Lily whispered, her phone lowered. I recorded everything, she said, her voice barely audible. Something cold and calculating stirred within me. Something that wouldn't have existed before this moment. Good, I said. Send it to me. As we walked out, leaving Patricia calling our names with increasing desperation, I felt 26 years of love calcify into something else. Something hard and unforgiving. In the elevator, Ethan finally broke the silence. What do we do now? He asked, his voice small. I looked at my children, their world shattered just as completely as mine, and found clarity amidst the chaos. Now, I said as the elevator doors opened, we make her pay. The drive back to our hotel passed in shattered silence. Connor white-knuckled the steering wheel. I was in no condition to drive. Ethan stared out the window, jaw clenched. Lily sat beside me, tears streaming down her face, her phone clutched like evidence at a crime scene. Patricia called repeatedly before we reached our hotel, then more as we packed, checked out, and drove to the airport. I watched her name flash on my screen until I finally turned the phone off completely. We managed to get seats on a flight leaving that afternoon. 4 tickets, one way, back to the life that no longer existed. We sat in the terminal, none of us able to articulate the earthquake that had destroyed our foundation. I'm so sorry, Lily finally whispered, her voice thick with tears. I'm so sorry you had to see that. I took her hand. You have nothing to apologize for, I assured her firmly. Nothing. None of you do. Connor stood abruptly. I need a drink, he muttered. It was barely noon, but Ethan and I nodded. As Connor walked to the airport bar, Ethan leaned toward me. What's the plan when we get home, Dad? He asked quietly. The plan. As if there could be a plan for navigating this wasteland. I don't know yet, I admitted. But I know one thing. She doesn't get to win. The flight home was a blur. We landed, collected our bags, and drove to the house in heavy silence. None of us had turned our phones back on, not ready to face Patricia's excuses or pleas. Walking into our home felt surreal. Everything looked exactly the same as yesterday. Family photos on the walls, Patricia's reading glasses on the side table, but nothing would ever be the same again. "Dad," Connor said, setting down his bag, "you should talk to a lawyer." "First thing tomorrow," he advised. The thought of officially acknowledging the end of my marriage made me physically ill. But he was right. "I know someone," Ethan said quietly. "My friend Jake's mom is a divorce attorney, Margaret Fielding. She's supposed to be the best," he explained. "I'll call her." I nodded, feeling decades older than I had this morning. Tomorrow, that night, after the kids retreated to their rooms, I finally turned my phone back on. Dozens of missed calls from Patricia, 16 voicemails, 37 desperate text messages. "David, please call me, I can explain. It's not what you think. Please let me talk to the kids. I'm so sorry I'm booking a flight home tomorrow. Please don't lock me out." I felt nothing reading her messages, just a cold, hollow space where my heart used to be. My phone pinged with an incoming email from Lily, the video. I hesitated before opening it. Did I really need to torture myself with these images again? Yes, because this wasn't just about pain anymore. This was evidence. I opened the file. The video was crystal clear, capturing everything. Patricia and Henry in the act, their faces visible. The moment of discovery. Henry's wedding ring glinting. Patricia's pathetic attempts at explanation. My punch connecting with Henry's jaw. I watched it 3 times, each viewing hardening my resolve. Then I began to search. It took minutes to find Henry Lang on LinkedIn, regional sales director at Midwest Insurance Group, father of 3, husband to Helen Lang, tagged in several posts. I clicked through to Helen's profile. Pretty woman, early 40s. In her profile picture, smiling with her arm around Henry, the man I'd caught inside my wife 6 hours ago. I continued searching, found his Facebook page, more family photos, a recent vacation to Mexico, a post celebrating their 15th wedding anniversary 3 months ago. With methodical precision, I documented everything, created a folder titled Evidence, downloaded the video, screenshots of Henry's profiles, his connection to Patricia, a recent LinkedIn connection from 2 months ago. Her comment on his post, "Great insights as always." His reply, "Thanks, Patricia. Let's connect next time you're in town." Next time you're in town. The coldness inside me hardened further. I spent hours building my case. By dawn, I had a clear picture of Patricia's betrayal. The yoga classes coincided perfectly with Henry's business trips to our area. The shopping days aligned with his regional sales meetings. When my phone rang at 7 a.m., I was ready. Margaret Fielding's office, confirming an urgent appointment at 9 a.m. When I ended the call, I looked up to find my 3 children in the doorway. They were still in yesterday's clothes, dark circles under their eyes. "I have an appointment with a divorce attorney at 9, I told them. "After that, we start taking back our lives." Connor nodded grimly. "What about Mom? She's coming home today," he reminded me. I glanced at the evidence I'd compiled overnight. "Let her come," I said, a plan solidifying. "Let her walk right into the consequences of her actions." Ethan placed a hand on my shoulder. "Whatever you need, Dad." "We're with you," he promised. Lily, her eyes red but her jaw set with determination, added, "All the way." In that moment, looking at my children, the only family I had left, I felt something break through the ice in my chest. Not forgiveness, not acceptance, but purpose. Clear, cold purpose. Margaret Fielding was exactly what we needed. Not the shark-like attorney I'd imagined, but a soft-spoken 60-something with silver-streaked hair and kind eyes that hardened to steel when I showed her the evidence. "This is unusually clear-cut," she said, reviewing the video with clinical detachment. "Infidelity captured in 4K. Both parties clearly identifiable. No ambiguity whatsoever. Where do we stand legally?" I asked, my voice hollow. Margaret leaned back in her chair. Illinois is a no-fault divorce state, she explained. Technically, infidelity doesn't change property division or support calculations. My heart sank. So it doesn't matter? What she did? It doesn't matter? I asked incredulously. I didn't say that. A small smile crossed her face. The technical legal standing and the practical reality are often quite different, she clarified. Your wife won't want this video played in open court. She won't want it potentially leaked to friends, family, employers. The same goes for her companion. Understanding dawned. You're saying we have leverage, I realized. Considerable leverage, she confirmed. Now let's discuss what you want. I wanted my marriage back. I wanted to unsee what I'd seen. I wanted to rewind time. But those weren't options. I want the house, I said finally. I want my retirement accounts untouched. I've been the sole earner for 20 years. I want her to have nothing. Margaret made notes. What about alimony? She asked without looking up. Not a penny, I said flatly. That might be difficult, she cautioned. She's been out of the workforce for decades, at your mutual agreement. Courts, typically... I don't care what courts typically do, I cut in. Use the video. Use the leverage. Margaret studied me, then nodded. I'll prepare the divorce filing today. Papers ready tomorrow morning, she promised. When I returned home, Lily met me at the door. Mom's flight lands in 2 hours, she informed me. She's been texting nonstop. I showed her Margaret's card. We're filing. Papers ready tomorrow, I said simply. Connor appeared in the hallway. Good. And tonight? When she shows up? He asked. The cold purpose crystallized into a plan. Tonight we let her talk, I said, moving to the living room where Ethan sat. We let her explain, apologize, beg, and then we show her exactly what we have. For the next hour, we prepared. Connor connected Lily's phone to our TV, ensuring the video would play with clarity. Ethan gathered Patricia's credit card statements, hotel charges, restaurant bills in towns where Henry had meetings. I retrieved her laptop from our bedroom, easily guessing her password, Lily's birthday, and finding hundreds of text messages between them. By the time Patricia's Uber pulled into our driveway at 4:37 p.m., we were ready. The four of us sat in the living room, a unified front against the woman who had shattered our family. The key turned in the lock. The front door opened. Patricia's voice called out, tentative. David, kids? No one answered. The sound of her rolling suitcase on the hardwood floor, her footsteps approaching. She appeared in the doorway, still wearing the clothes from the hotel, hastily thrown on after we'd left. Her face was haggard, eyes red-rimmed from crying, hair in a messy ponytail. Oh, thank God, she breathed, seeing us all together. Please, can we talk? She pleaded. I gestured to the empty chair facing us. Sit, I ordered coldly. She perched on the edge, eyes darting between us, seeking any sign of softness. She found none. I know what you saw was terrible, she began, voice quavering. Unforgivable. But please, let me explain. Explain what, exactly? Connor interrupted, his voice icy. Explain why you were f***ing some guy while Dad was flying across the country to surprise you? Patricia flinched as if slapped. Connor, please, she begged. We found everything, Ethan cut in, his voice steady. Your messages, your credit card statements, the hotels. He held up papers. Going back 4 months, Patricia's face crumpled. It's not... I wasn't... she stammered. Don't say it wasn't what it looked like, Lily said, her voice barely audible. We saw you. We all saw you. I sat silently, watching Patricia's desperate attempts to minimize, to rationalize, to find a narrative where she wasn't the villain. David, she turned to me, pleading. It didn't mean anything. Henry, it was just physical. A mistake. I love you. I've always loved you, she insisted. Stop. The single word cut through her babbling. "Just stop, Patricia," I commanded. I reached for the remote and pressed play. The television screen filled with footage. Patricia and Henry in bed. Her face contorted in pleasure. The moment of discovery. The aftermath. Patricia's hands flew to her mouth, a strangled sound escaping. "Oh God, turn it off, please!" she cried. None of us moved. We watched in silence as the evidence played out in high definition. When it ended, Patricia was sobbing uncontrollably. "Tomorrow morning," I said evenly, "my lawyer will have divorce papers for you to sign. You'll get $5,000, enough to rent an apartment for a few months. Nothing more." "David," she gasped, I can't. Where would I go?" she asked desperately. "Not our problem," Connor said flatly. "But this is my home too," she protested. "I raised our children here." "I have rights." "Rights?" I laughed hollowly. "You had the right to divorce me if you were unhappy. You had the right to leave honorably. Instead, you chose to lie, to betray, to destroy our family." I leaned forward, holding her gaze. "Sign the papers tomorrow and take the settlement. Or fight me. And I'll make sure this video is played in court. I'll make sure everyone sees exactly who you really are." The threat hung between us. Patricia's face drained of color as she realized the implications. "You wouldn't," she whispered, eyes wide. "Try me," I challenged. She looked at our children, searching for any ally, any sympathy. She found none. "Where am I supposed to sleep tonight?" Patricia asked, defeat evident in every line of her body. "There's a Marriott 10 minutes away," Ethan said, his voice emotionless. "I already reserved you a room under your name, your credit card." Patricia flinched at her son's foresight, his methodical cruelty born from her betrayal. "Can I at least get some clothes?" "My toiletries," she asked quietly. I nodded once. 10 minutes. Then you leave," I stated firmly. As she shuffled upstairs, broken and defeated, Lily turned to me. "Was that too harsh?" she asked uncertainly. I took my daughter's hand. "She made her choice, sweetheart," I said gently. "Now she lives with the consequences." What none of us anticipated was what happened next. On Thursday evening, as we picked at a takeout dinner none of us had the appetite to finish, Ethan's phone pinged with a notification. "Oh my God," he breathed, staring at the screen. "What?" Connor and I asked simultaneously. Ethan turned his phone toward us. The video of Patricia and Henry, our private evidence, our leverage, had been posted online. "Who?" I began, but Lily cut me off, her face white. "I sent it to Angela," she whispered, horror dawning in her eyes. "Just to explain why I was so upset. I told her not to share it. I swear." The implications hit us all at once. The video was out. No longer a private piece of leverage, but a public spectacle. By Friday morning, the video had been viewed over 100,000 times. Local Facebook groups were buzzing with it. Patricia's name was trending in regional Twitter circles. Patricia was destroyed. Henry Lang's life collapsed even more spectacularly. His wife, Helen, moved with brutal efficiency, filing for divorce, demanding full custody of their children, claiming the house, emptying their joint accounts. By Friday evening, Patricia called me from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. "David, please." Her voice was broken, desperate. "I'm getting death threats. People are showing up at my hotel. I have no money. No one will talk to me. Please," she sobbed. "You made your choices," I replied, unmoved. "I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I'll do anything," she begged. "You'll sign the divorce papers when they arrive," I cut her off. "That's what you'll do. And you'll take the settlement my lawyer offers," I continued coldly. "Because if you fight this, I will make sure that video plays in open court, in front of a judge, in front of everyone. Do you understand me?" Silence. Then, barely a whisper. "Yes, good," I said, ending the call. I hung up. The man I'd been a week ago would have been horrified by my coldness. But that man no longer existed. That night, I sat on the back deck nursing a whiskey, watching the stars wheel overhead in their ancient, indifferent patterns. The universe had not stopped for my pain. Life continued. Somehow, impossibly, I would have to continue too. Not as the man I was, but as the man I had become. 6 months later, I stand on the back porch of the house I kept, the house I built, the house that's now truly mine, grilling burgers on a Saturday afternoon. Connor flips a patty with the confidence of someone who spent months learning to fill the domestic void his mother left. Ethan sets the table with Lily's help, the three of them moving in comfortable, practiced rhythm. "Dad, you okay?" Lily asks, handing me a beer. I look at my children, 25, 23, and 21 years old, adults now in ways they weren't forced to be before, and nod. "Yeah, kiddo, I'm okay," I assure her. "Good," Connor says, not looking up from the grill. "Because we are too," they are. Mostly. Therapy helped. Individual sessions for each of them, processing betrayal and trauma. Connor threw himself into work, earning a promotion. Ethan accelerated his MBA program, graduating early. Lily finished her nursing degree with honors, now working at a pediatric hospital. They stood together when everything fell apart. They're standing together now. Ethan raises his bottle. "To family! The real kind," he toasts. We clink bottles. The beer is cold. The afternoon is warm. For the first time in 6 months, I feel something close to peace. Inside the house, the divorce decree sits framed on my desk, not out of spite, but as a reminder. A reminder that 26 years meant nothing when tested against temptation. A reminder that trust, once broken, can never be repaired. But also a reminder that I didn't fall apart. My kids didn't fall apart. We survived. Margaret Fielding delivered exactly what she promised. I kept the house, the savings, the retirement accounts, everything. Patricia received her $5,000 settlement, just enough to avoid claims of punitive damages. She signed without argument. She had no leverage, no options, no choice. The viral video eventually faded from trending pages, replaced by newer scandals, but its impact remained permanent. Patricia moved 3 states away, working a minimum wage retail job, living in a studio apartment, cut off from everyone who mattered. Henry Lang's life collapsed even more spectacularly. Helen took everything in their divorce, full custody, the house, his retirement savings. He's apparently living in a different city now, unemployable in his field, working manual labor when he can find work. I feel no satisfaction in their suffering, only a cold acknowledgement. They made choices. Choices have consequences. As the sun sets and we eat dinner together, just the 4 of us, the real family, Connor asks the question I knew was coming eventually. "You think you'll ever date again?" he inquires cautiously. I consider this. "Maybe. Someday. Not now," I reply honestly. "That's fair," Lily says softly, reaching for my hand. "Right now," I continue, looking at each of them, "I've got everything I need right here." Somewhere far away, Patricia Marshall scrolls past the video that destroyed her life, still pinned to the top of search results for her name. She has no one. She has nothing. And every single night she thinks about the family she traded away, for a man whose name she can barely remember now. And so, we've reached the end of today's story. Was it what you expected, or did it take a twist you didn't see coming? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below, and let's get a conversation going. If this story kept you hooked, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here or just haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to join our community. I bring you fresh, captivating stories every day, so click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.